Absolutely. India has assumed the chair of the G20 at a very critical phase in the history of mankind. Not just... बेटा 1 मिनट में फोन पे हो रहा है 1 मिनट हेलो 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 हेलो
Yes, sir. Please go ahead. Please go ahead.
Yes, sir. Major General Bakshi, we can hear you.
Like I said, India is at the chairmanship of the G20 at a very critical phase in the history of mankind. As we know, the Russia-Ukraine war has entered its 9th month. It is almost causing a global economic recession, stagflation, inflation, energy inflation, food inflation, etc. Fertilizer inflation is at an all-time high. The world needs peace, and I think India is best positioned to strive for that peace, to get a ceasefire negotiated in the Russia-Ukraine war, to get peace all over the world, because the world is otherwise teetering on the brink of a third world war, a global conflict. There are tensions in the Taiwan Straits, tensions between North and South Korea, tensions in the South China Sea, tensions in Iran, Israel, Saudi Arabia, and of course tensions in Europe. Just today there were some reports that some, strikes have been reported in Poland. Now, if that is true, the war could even spread. So there is a time to be extremely cautious, circumspect, and careful. And I think India is in the right position to provide the leadership, because it is acceptable to both sides. It is acceptable to both sides.
Right, sir. So, General Bakshi, Major General Bakshi, when we talk about the other pull aside, the other very significant pull aside between China and the United States, the statements coming in were that from Joe Biden was that there is no change as far as the United States is concerned in the Taiwan stance. There's no new Cold War. But China, on its part, the Chinese government on its part has said that Taiwan is a red line that must not be crossed. In view of all that's gone on in the G20, what do you think these statements mean?
These statements mean precisely, they say, China was feeling very humiliated when Nancy Pelosi visited Taiwan, despite all its breathing hot and cold, despite all its threats and, threats to ramp up the conflict. The visit went ahead, and then it was followed by a flurry of visits by senior American officials to Taiwan. This was at a time when Xi Jinping was about to face the crucial Chinese Communist Party Congress, which has given him now a third term. With the third term secure under his belt, he seems to be feeling more confident. And there are some speculation that the Chinese had a timeline of 2025 before they would be ready for conflict. That timeline, some American sources are saying, has now been preponed. And if that has now been preponed, then it could lead to conflict in an earlier time frame. So these meetings are to see that those dangers are tamped down a bit, those threats and that negative spiral is now cooled down a bit, so that the world doesn't erupt into one conflict, second conflict, third conflict, almost as a case of sympathetic detonations as they take place on the battlefield. So we hope and pray that there will be peace, that there will be a ceasefire in Ukraine. I'm not sure if that can happen now, because both sides haven't reached that point of exhaustion when they feel they can't do more. Russia has just mobilized 3 lakh troops, reservists, and may try and use them to, reverse the situation in its favor. So we will have to wait and watch. But within a couple of months, that crucial point will come where the sides will be exhausted and will be looking for a way out and off-ramp from the conflict for Putin, for Zelensky, for the West.
Right, sir. Many thanks for speaking with Republic and sharing your thoughts with us. Thank you very much for joining us. And so, as we were telling you, it's